is the kettlebell swing, a fantastic exercise that we love. Maybe you've done them here, maybe you've seen people do them here, you're a little bit curious. What are they for? What do they do? How do you do them? Well, I'm going to cover the ins and outs of the kettlebell swing today. The first thing you need to know is the kettlebell swing is a fantastic exercise for what's known as the posterior chain. And what that means is just a fancy way of saying your butt and your hamstrings or the back of your legs. These are really important muscles for preventing low back pain, for preventing knee pain, but also very important performance muscles. The stronger they are, the better you're gonna be at deadlifting in here, the better you're gonna be at squatting, lunging, burpees, you name it. The stronger and more stable we can get our legs, the better our performance is going to be in the gym. The harder we can work, the more calories we burn. You see, that's when we start to build some momentum. So you've got to have some good level of strength. So when you do your swings, if you feel your butt, if you feel the backside working, you are doing them correctly. One of the most the most important areas not to feel the swing is going to be in your low back, and that's typically where people run into issues. And I'm going to talk to you a lot about the common mistakes that we see to how to prevent pain here. What we want to feel is butt and hamstrings working, not the low back. Right? They're a really high-speed exercise, so they're going to get your heart rate up. They're great for that strength build, but they're also great for that cardio end of things, for improving your endurance, your power and reaction, and helping you burn some calories and shred some fat and feel great. We love the kettlebell swing. Now, the three biggest mistakes that we see, number one is swinging the bell too low. If you're looking at me from the front, when I swing in, I actually want the back of my wrists to be as high and connected towards my upper butt as I can. I shouldn't see, if I'm looking at you from the front, I should not see any daylight between the back of your wrist, the back of your forearms, and your butt. We should be tucked in really high. If you see me from the side, what that does is it allows me to keep my posture nice and upright. In the bottom of my swing, a crucial component is that my spine is lifted in this upright posture. You can see my low back is nice and flat, and it's slightly tilted up to keep pressure off my low back, off my spine, those discs, everything that's important to that low back. If my hands sweep too low, right, the hands go below the knees, it's going to pull my body forward, and I end up in this flexed body position, putting a lot of stress on my low back. So again, to prevent that, what I want you to picture is, on the way in, I want you to stay as high as you can toward your butt, and I want you to think about that kettlebell staying above your knees on the way in. So you can see my hands, and the kettlebell, if I have the kettlebell in my hand, is well above my knee level. What we see that mistake is that bell's gonna swing too low, then it swings below or at my knee level, which pulls me forward, and I do more of a squat. Instead, what we wanna see is bell finishes just under that armpit height, bell drops, I wait, keep my hands high, then I move my hips out of the way, and you can see how high my hands are and how strong and upright I'm keeping my chest to stay in that nice upright posture. So, mistake number one to avoid, don't let the bell sweep below the knees. Picture a triangle from your groin to your knees, that's my triangle. I gotta keep that bell high as I can in that triangle. Mistake number two is pulling with the arms. What we see is, bell hikes, this motion where I'm doing this shrug, I'm trying to get the bell to move, and I'm using an arm front raise to get the bell. In reality, once you get into the swing, you start doing this correctly, you should feel basically no arm action. The only arm action I'm feeling is really just trying to keep my shoulders back to keep my posture nice and tall. So you might start to feel some fatigue through your lats and your upper back and your traps. I should never feel an arm pull, right? What that means is that your hip drive is not doing the work. So when I'm in that bottom position, point A, right, hands are high. To get to point B, my top position, I need to straighten my leg. I need to straighten my knees, come up nice and sharp. I'm making a big muscle right into my quads, squeezing my butt, and that is going to snap the bell and get it moving. So it looks up like this. Bell starts out front, chest nice and upright. I hike that kettlebell back, stays high towards my glutes. And I lock my knees, squeeze my butt, and get as tall as I can. My arms
are chilling. I got a good grip on my bell. But that knee straighten and that glute squeeze is what's driving the bell, not this aggressive pull with the arm. So if you catch yourself, man, my shoulders are really fatiguing. I'm shrugging, keep those shoulders down. I want you to work harder to let those knees bend on the way in, and then aggressively straighten them, get firm. Make a quad muscle, make a butt muscle. So coach came over, he gave you a little punch in your quad or your butt, that should be firm. Use your hip drive, a nice aggressive exhale and snap to get the bell nice and high. Okay, so mistake number 3. I'm working very hard here to coach and to breathe. It's a hard life. Mistake number 3 is an overarching at the top position. All right, so we covered the bottom position. Hands need to stay high, chest needs to stay nice and upright. The top position should look just like this. A straight line from my heel, or my ankle, through my knee, through my hip, through my shoulder, and through my head. What I want to picture is I'm getting stretched as tall as possible. What happens when people, they try to use their arms, they're not using their legs to push through their feet and snap their hips. What they're going to end up doing is trying to get the bell moving by pulling back through my low back and swinging back to get the bell moving. So what happens is instead of stopping here, I continue to push my hips forward, my low back arches, and now I'm basically stopping my momentum with my low back. So my back is basically bending on itself to press pause and allow me to stop, but I'm jamming up those discs and those important structures in my vertebrae and behind my vertebrae. What I want to see is when you come out of your swing, push through your feet, lock your knees, squeeze your butt, and imagine the top of your head is getting pulled, stretch as tall as you can through the ceiling. So I want to fight for height. I want to get as long and posturally tall as possible. And that's going to finish my swing with good stability. I'm not too far forward. I'm not too far back. I'm using my butt, crunching down through my abs, keeping a good brace. And I'm getting as long as possible. Essentially what we're doing is we're taking our spine and we're decompressing. We're lengthening. You're going to hear a lot of that through our exercises here. Get long through the top of your head. Decompress your spine. Get it with some freedom. Get those vertebrae some space. And what that's going to do is take a ton of stress off your low back. So finish your swing just below chest level, arms straight. The higher I go, the more likely I am to kind of go with the bell and put stress on your low back. And you should feel hamstrings and butt, a little stretch on the way in, and then a good firm squeeze. Your legs should be working hard to finish that swing and be nice and sharp at the top. So, a couple things before I close out here. Those are your 3 mistakes to avoid. Keep the bell high, finish as upright as you can. Use that hip snap to straighten those knees and get those glutes engaged to get the bell snapping through. Keep that bell swinging and moving.